Welcome back, people. This is Snide and Sniff again, and this is the second part of the 3D modeling tutorial showing you how to create your own 3D fat art. If you missed the first part, you might want to go back and watch that, or you might not. Either way, I hope you enjoy this video.
Okay, so the face, it's looking okay, isn't it? But it's currently missing ears, so let's add the ears on. We can make everything separate pieces, because then we can manage them easier, and then we can eventually just combine them. That's how I like to do it. It just makes it less fiddly. You could use masking, but that's more fiddly. That's what I don't like about it. Okay, so we can use some simple geometric modeling. Just add some loop cuts, deform it a little bit, make it look a bit more like an ear. Though this isn't totally necessary. It just makes it slightly easier when you begin sculpting.
Oh my gosh, they're a swamp monster. Okay, that makes them look a little bit more like a monkey, but it's getting somewhere.
Okay, the ears are too high. Nonetheless, I can just move them down with the grab. You obviously want to make sure you're not looking at it too close, and the perspective is too extreme. Obviously, they'll give you the wrong idea of what it actually looks like. Okay. Didn't tell you. The ears are not going to be super detailed because they're stylized ears, though I guess you might say, oh, ears are really difficult, but no, they're just you just need to reference. That's pretty much the entirety of the issue with them. There's nothing too fiddly or difficult with them. They're just hard to remember the exact anatomy, and you don't need to because they're darn ears. No one cares about them. Okay, this is probably good enough ears. They're probably going to be hidden by here anyway. So, trying to move on to some of the other stuff for the moment. Oh, who cares about materials? Actually, I might as well just apply them so they don't look like they're different colored ears. Use that one material we have, and time to add some of the body parts.
What are we adding next?
Next, let's add a portion of the body. You can probably have as many segments as you like, but when it comes to fat people, probably the sensible amount of body segments to have is about two main body segments. The stomach segment and the upper body segment, because the fat is sort of going to blob around the belly segment, and so it's going to be easier if you just have it as a separate piece. You could have them both the same piece. It's not going to make too much difference. It just is a bit more manageable, and these are far too small. I'll make them a lot larger. Okay, so we're aiming for JayKuma, so
yeah, we can
let's
see the
zoom out a little
bellies.
bit. Oh, so obviously I can reshape this. The shoulders need to be a lot wider than the bottom, but okay, the segment's a lot larger. Okay, so just so we see what everything's gonna look like, I might as well go on and just pee this and get the legs done as well, so I know what the vague anatomy is going to look like, and then we can refine them later. Okay, so there we go. Look, just with some slightly edited spheres, it's already looking kind of like a fat person. No, okay, no legs, but it doesn't matter. The legs are not an important part. The lower legs, that is. The thighs are important.
Calves, shins, no one cares about those.
Knees, sometimes knobbly knees, I guess.
Knee fetishes just sounds like, what knees? What's so great about knees? There's no fat on the knees.
Yeah, well, that's what makes them so good.
It's like you've got the titties, big fat blobs, bootay, fat blobs, belly fat. Knees are like, have no fat on them. Knobbly knees have no fat on them. What's so great about something that's not fat?
I guess you wouldn't understand.
I wouldn't.
Okay, so I'll do a little bit of refining on the upper body. Just a normal certitude and topo, that kind of trash.
Ah, debute,
Yes,
yes.
you could make the bottom a separate piece. It depends. I'll see what happens if I don't make them a separate piece. It's not really necessary. And obviously I have to take what I think is enough and double it, seeing as this is JayKuma. I will apply mirror and do the small amount on these that's required, lol.
Make sure to get those knobbly knees in there, bruh.
No, I have to make the knees a separate piece, they're too important.
Well, it's just really satisfying the seeing the, you know, hard geometry go to a smoothness, I guess.
Yeah. Because there's not going to be any darn hard edges to these people, lol.
True.
Okay, I don't have any darn lower leg references here, but I guess that's because he never even includes them.
Lower legs are unimportant.
Can I X mirror this and move these in a bit? I'll see. No, okay, I'll just squidge them in then.
So what are your sort of like tips for wannabe 3D artists? And wannabe fat 3D artists?
Yeah, I don't know. Practice, I guess. That's pretty much it. When it comes to sculpting, there's not really much you can do apart from practice. If you know vaguely what you're doing. I guess some people don't know that though.
I mean, I guess getting your head around the software is one thing.
With sculpting, that's not really an issue, mostly, because there's a few basic functions you need to use. But knowing the software is mostly important when it comes to having tricks available with hard surface modeling, which is a lot more technical, really. When it comes to organic sculpting, software knowledge is pretty irrelevant.
I mean, it's basically like working with digital plasticine.
Yeah, just if you can sculpt in plasticine, you can sculpt in any 3D software, I would say.
Wow. There you go.
I think people have transitioned to digital sculpting in like a month. If they used traditional sculpting beforehand, it's a pretty similar process.
Wow, that's pretty incredible.
Okay, I'll just add some feet, same process as before, nothing technically challenging about this, lol. And feet are they usually have shoes, so doing toes and stuff is pointless. Toes are probably the same difficulty as hands, but you don't need to know how to do them because no one has to see the feet anyway, unless you're doing foot art, in which case you do have to know it.
It's quite important, yeah.
I'll just make them somewhat foot-shaped. Everything's too small at the moment, lol.
Everything's too small.
Especially the belly, I guess I'll scale that up a bit more. This is done, JayKuma, it's gonna have to be done. My legs are gonna have to be huge too.
Oh god.
Yeah. And the arms are probably, I don't. Actually, no. I think my issue is my shoulders. The shoulders are far too broad. If I reduce the size, that will make the arms look a lot better.
When are you adding the titties?
They're probably the least important bit. No, they aren't.
I mean, yeah.
And what
it's all about the bellies around here, I guess. So yeah.
I'll also make the arms a bit farther out so I can get to the underside of them. Delete one half, mirror it again, then just move them in edit mode, lol.
Why don't you make them T-posing?
T-posing, silly.
I know this is a bit old at this point, but could be fatter.
That's the thing with 3D, especially after if you retopo it, especially though not even necessarily, you can make them fatter really easily. Okay, what's the neck area supposed to look like? Yeah, the neck is too short. This looks pretty much no. It's okay. It's still the head's still far too large. Okay, I'll get in and do some detail sculpting maybe on just so I can make the neck area look a bit better. Obviously, until you combine the pieces, it's gonna look kind of weird. Okay, so I guess time to add another bit to it. Let's add 2 more sphere. Okay, no, don't add the sphere. Add the cube first.
What is the cube?
There you go.
Oh yeah, boy! Here we go, yeah! Yeah, this is it. This is it.
Epic.
Ah! If titties look like that, I would. Oh no! Now you've ruined them. They're round now. Yeah, that's what titties should look like.
Okay, so
Round. Get that out of here.
most of these are pretty conservatively sized for fat art. But then if you look at this, then you'd have to go like, this is getting extreme. That's how silly that looks. Yeah, no, I'm gonna go with a normal size for some of these other artworks. And it pretty much covers the entire upper body, so...
Titties are such a divisive topic. Everyone's always arguing about what real titties look like and whether titties should be realistic or how large titties should be. It's just a never-ending source of conflict and debate.
At least we're not biased.
What do you mean?
Because we're not trying to support our own team or whatever. We're men, so yeah. I guess we're biased against woman's comfort, but nonetheless.
Biased against woman's comfort?
No, we
What
aren't.
you mean women of different titty sizes are like...
Say, well, this is the perfect size or whatever.
I mean, I guess either it's like you have giant titties, so you have high status, and but it's uncomfortable, and so you're like, it's so awful.
And
I'm
then people are
uncomfortable,
like,
and then people, everyone else is like, I have small titties. I feel like I have no value, but I am not. My back doesn't hurt. It's like people are never happy.
I guess for some people it sounds a little bit like you're complaining I have so much money it hurts to carry my suitcase of $100 bills around.
No one's ever happy. No one's ever friggin' happy. It's like, have you ever seen men saying like, "Oh gosh, my
I mean, you've been on the subreddit. There are people who say, you know, it is difficult, or something like that. Even though they're saying, well, if it's like beeping 11 inches long, it's beeping really difficult, or something. Even though, no, they're probably just 12-year-olds bragging about their, even though it's actually 5 inches or something. I don't know.
Oh, all of you 4-inch folk, I envy you. It is so hard having an 11-inch D. I don't even. I had.
Even though you're probably the only guy in the country with that size.
Yes. Yeah, like you don't really like. I don't know. There's not really the same kind of D-size politics. Like, no one is like no one no one is commenting on Futanari artwork saying like that a D that size would be so uncomfortable. You don't understand how Ds don't work like that. You're not getting the dick physics right.
But unlike plot, though, except in some very rare cases, it's kind of difficult to actually see the D size in public, though, isn't it? It's not really an immediately noticeable status symbol.
Is titty size and dick size being status symbols stupid? Yeah, it is.
I guess it's on the internet, people just obsess with it, but people probably do obsess with it in reality a lot more than you'd want. Though I guess I can't really say anything. I'm in the top 5% or whatever, so
yeah.
So I'm privileged or whatever. I'm not gonna join the darn subreddit though and complain. Not that I fit their absurdly unrealistic size requirements to join or whatever.
I guess really on the internet, off the internet, the entire world is just obsessed with titties and Ds. It's pretty much, what it's all about. That's why Futanari are so popular, It's the human condition.
I guess so.
Yeah, women who say men only care about titties don't know anything. All the men who like Futanari certainly disagree.
I mean,
admittedly, that's an even more unrealistic standard for women. There's so many unrealistic beauty standards for women nowadays. It's like you need giant titties, you need to be super thin, and you need to have a frigging dick. Like, how do you do that?
I think they have done a few transplants, not on women obviously. I don't know if that's possible. But I mean, it's kind of absurd that Ds are like too complicated for even modern medicine and science to do anything with. Like, they can't lengthen them for some reason. They can't do anything with them. They barely can transplant them. Like, there must be tons of funding for this. Why can't they do it? I don't know.
Good God, this is why we don't have like genetically engineered cat girls and cat boys yet.
Yeah, first Futanari, obviously, that's something that needs to become available, but seeing as they can barely transplant them onto men, it's not going to happen in the near future, at least. Okay, looks somewhat okay. Time to save the file.
Okay, so it's looking pretty cool. We've got the rough shape of it. So that will be all for this video, but we will be back with part 3 of the tutorial to show you making it look more like the character, adding the real distinctive details.
Yeah, I mean, if you made it to the end of the video, you're probably in our 10 most favorite people in the world.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for watching anyway, and see you next time. Bye bye!